You are listening to GMR Radio. And now, the Great Movie Radio Show.
All right, everyone. Quiet on the set. Places. We've got a show to make here. Are Chris and Gabe ready? They are. Okay, everyone. In 3, 2, 1, and... Coming to you live from sunny Orlando, Florida, it's the Great Movie Radio Show, a movie talk podcast starring Chris and Gabe.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Great Movie Radio Show. My name is Chris. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us today. With us, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Gabe. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I just got my vaccine, so I'm really excited.
Hey, and I just got mine last week, so we'll get to record in person eventually again.
Yeah.
Hey.
After that second shot, we're gonna wait a little 2 weeks, and then we'll be live and in color.
Live and in color. Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's pretty exciting, and we've already discussed officially that we're going monthly for the podcast. So that's been something that your schedule and my schedule is just kind of weird, and we're all grown up and we've got jobs, and it's not like we do this for a living. So we love talking movies and we're having fun doing this, but we're gonna go monthly. It's just easier on the stress. It's easier on
your editing, so you don't have to
oh my god, the 5 a.m. editing sessions after work, and then I have another shift after that. It's just like, yeah. I love doing this, but it's just not all the time in the world like we did during quarantine. So
no, for sure.
Speaking of talking movies, guess what we're going to do on a podcast in which we talk about movies? We're going to talk about movies for a little bit.
I'm going to go get lunch. Oh, wait, what?
Oh, get that dehydrated Pizza Hut again, right? So you and I discussed recently that we've got some movies that we've been watching. I know I have a few that were like award-nominated pictures. You have some that you've been watching for your film class. We've got a couple movies that we want to talk about. That one just had a trailer pop out last week, and then one just got announced. That's like a continuation of one of your favorite franchises. So we'll start with that one. Ace Ventura 3 is apparently happening.
Apparently, they're in the talks of making it happen. I hope they do it justice. It's been so long.
You're like, I don't know how to process this. So I'm assuming, based on the information that came out, it's Ace Ventura 3. The writers of Sonic the Hedgehog are working on it. So like the recent Sonic the Hedgehog movie. So I'm assuming that with Jim Carrey doing Dr. Eggman, or whatever you want to call him, the villain in Sonic, something probably was being discussed during production, and maybe something is like, we've got an idea. We'd like to do this with you, Jim. Do you want to bring back this classic character? But the thing is, we haven't heard if he's actually coming back to play Ace. They haven't officially said anything about Jim Carrey. They just said Ace Ventura 3, Sonic the Hedgehog writers, and that it's going to be on Amazon. So I guess it's a Prime Video movie.
Oh.
So
I could see the writers coming up and like, hey, Steve, listen, that script we're working on Ace Ventura. Well, Jim Carrey's going to be in the Sonic movie, so maybe we should picture to him. You just see like Timothy walking up. Mr. Carrey, Timothy.
Steal him, and make him do the movie. And I'm assuming it was reviewed at a 50-ish area. Coming to America, the sequel to the original 1980s Coming to America, was like a huge success for Amazon as far as like how many people watched it on the streaming service. So I don't know if they're like, what other classic 80s, 90s movies can we bring sequels to? And I don't know if Amazon reached out about this, or like I said, the writers and Jim, while doing Sonic, wanted to do with it. Who knows? But this just got announced that this is something that's in the works, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm kind of indifferent on the idea until I see things. If I start seeing a trailer or a teaser, or even Jim in the outfit again with the hair back, that might get me going. But I'm kind of just like a wait and see type mindset on it.
Yeah, I just, I had this discussion in film class and wrote about it in one of my papers and stuff, and it was just like, I feel like Hollywood's just like, what can make the most money? Oh, this was a fandom back then. Let's do a sequel 30 years later and try to get the most money instead of being like, oh, let's put something out original. But like you said, we'll see what happens. It could be hilarious. It could be a bomb. I'll probably still laugh, though.
I mean, I'd want it to be good. Like, I am okay with having continuations of these older franchises. It needs to be good.
Exactly.
Coming to America was actually pretty good, all things considering. There were a couple things that were a little too cheesy to me, but the movie overall was great. And especially, we watched the original and then immediately watched the second one, and I think that helped my perception of the new one.
Maybe.
So, I don't know. We'll see. So that's happening, and then you're very excited. The new trailer for In the Heights dropped last week.
Yeah.
During the Grammys or something.
Yeah, I believe it was during the Grammys. Yeah, and I was at a friend's house playing board games, but then I heard about it and then I saw the trailer, and I'm just like, I love the show itself. I love the music from the show, and I was excited once they announced they were going to do it in the cast, and then just watching that trailer was everything, and I just can't wait for the summer, and glad I have HBO Max.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a shame we can't like connect HBO to our Twitch, because we could totally like do a streaming party for it.
That would you would hear my awful singing, so you're welcome, viewers, for that.
all three of you would get to listen to that, and the two of the three are you and me, right?
Exactly, yeah. So all one viewers. Although we have Kowalski now, he said he's going to start watching with us.
Yeah. Shout out to
Kowalski. If you're listening to the podcast, this shout outs for you. Thanks for joining us on Back to the Future
during our Back to the Future marathon. Yeah, that was a great time too. So if any of you got to tune in even for just 5 minutes and hang out with us, that was great. It was a long day, but I had a lot of fun doing the Back to the Future marathon. Hopefully we can do another one of those with a different movie franchise in the future. Not something we'll do regularly, though, because 3 movies in a row while streaming and sitting in one place is a lot. I'm all for like having a movie marathon. Like, I've done the Lord of the Rings marathons at home, but like, I'll move around, I get up and all this. But when you're streaming, you're kind of confined to like your streaming space, and it's a lot. So
yeah.
We'll see. So movies we want to talk about. Recent releases. I've got a few movies that I watched that we've got some Academy Award nominated movies. A lot of these are from last year, or excuse me, all of them are from last year. 5 movies I just wanted to kind of shout out and recommend, I guess. My first one would be Possessor. Have you heard about this one, Gabe?
No.
So Possessor is it's the son of David Cronenberg, who has directed movies like Scanners and Videodrome. But it's his son, Brandon Cronenberg. This movie came out officially last year. And it's more of so Cronenberg Sr., I guess we'll say Cronenberg Sr., is known for a lot of horror cult movies from like the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And he's gone into dramas a lot recently, being an older director. But his son directed this. It's very science fiction based. But it has a lot of Cronenberg-esque features, like the style and the visuals are very Cronenberg. So it's funny that it's his son that did this movie. I'm sure he has borrowed and taken a lot of inspiration from his father. But the movie follows Andrea Riseborough, who's in movies like Oblivion and Mandy, and she's a corporate assassin who like scans herself into the brain of willing people who are like, I guess, okay with dying or something. I'm not too. I need to go back and rewatch it, but she is literally like taking over their body, possessing their body, which is where the title comes from, and carries out these crazy assassinations. Well, one of them goes bad, And so the person that she has possessed, it's like a fight between her and him, and it was insane and very original. I highly recommend it. I think it's on Hulu right now. Yeah, it's on Hulu right now, and it's very crazy. I highly recommend it. It was in my top. All of these are in my top 10 of last year. So definitely want to check that out, Gabe. If you're into really weird sci-fi movies with a little twist of horror, I think you'd like it.
Really weird. Sci-fi is my middle name.
It's a very weird middle name to have, Gabe. I didn't know that.
Whatever.
Another recommended movie recently watched is Promising Young Woman. My wife and I actually just watched it within the last week, finally. And let me tell you, that was a roller coaster of a film. Carey Mulligan, if she doesn't get the Best Actress award, I'm going to be very upset. But she is a young woman who, a friend of hers, who's like a sister, there's a traumatic experience. I won't say too much because I don't want to ruin the movie. Traumatic experience happens, and she is pretty much just following out this revenge fantasy to everyone involved with this traumatic experience. And the person who directed it, Emerald Fennell, she's in charge of that Killing Eve series, or she's like a showrunner for that series, which I hear is really good. I haven't seen it yet. This movie was fantastic. Loved it. Loved every bit of it. The end kind of shocked me a bit. I didn't really know how to react to the rest of the film. I wasn't anticipating what happened near the end. Highly recommend it. It's unfortunately not streaming anywhere for free, but you can like rent it off Amazon or Google.
How dare you?
I know. I rented it. So there you go. You got to support these filmmakers, man. We got to keep Hollywood going. Vaccines are out there. People are starting to go back to the movies. It's great. We got to keep these going. Wolf Walkers. This was an animated feature that hit Apple Plus, and a couple theaters actually had it as a Fathom event too. But this was a very wonderful Irish tale animated feature. Features voices of Sean Bean and other actors and actresses whose names I can't pronounce. So that's fun. But this was a very gorgeous tale of just, freedom. It was in a time of superstition and magic, when wolves are seen as demonic in nature and evil to be tamed, a young apprentice hunter comes to Ireland with her father to wipe out the last pack. But when she saves a wild native girl, their friendship leads her to discover the world of the Wolfwalkers and transform her into the very thing her father is tasked to destroy. It's just this gorgeous animated feature that I highly recommend. It was my pick for animated movie of the year, even though we all know Soul will win because it's Disney and Pixar, and that's just what happens when Disney and Pixar makes an animated movie. It wins. It just
Yeah, it's funny though because gorgeous animated feature is also my middle name.
Oh man, we just need to make this plaque of just this huge wall long list of middle names for you, I suppose.
Yeah, my middle name actually wraps around the Stanley Cup twice.
Oh, okay. Well, that's how many times the lightning have won, so I'll take it. Sound of Metal. Have you seen this one or heard about it?
Chris and viewers of the podcast, we all know what the answer is going to be.
I don't know your life.
I haven't seen a lot of movies, and especially a lot of movies Chris has seen, like weird sci-fis or beautiful animated films. Although I did this week, but so long story short, no, I have not.
No, you could have just said no, Gabe. You could have just said no.
I know, but that's not fun.
Yeah, I know. We got to add some beef in here. Beefy. Sound of Metal, great movie. It was actually the front runner for my top of the year until the next and last movie I'm going to talk about came out, or at least was watched. This is a Prime Video, so Amazon film. Sound of Metal follows Riz Ahmad, who is a drummer who is going through a hearing loss situation, and he and his girlfriend are like going through this emotional journey, all while he's beginning to lose and eventually does lose his hearing. So it's this journey of him finding a way to continue doing what he loves, which is music. in this world of not being able to hear it. And I gotta tell you, it's not a film that uh, it's very original, and just this emotional portrayal by Riz Ahmed. And I'm a huge fan of him. Of course, he was in Rogue One, and he was the villain in Venom, actually. So that's kind of funny. It's funny seeing him do these small indie films after
Oh,
doing
see,
these
okay.
big
So I
blockbuster
have seen
movies.
Venom, so I know who you're talking about.
Okay, very good. So he's the main actor in it, and it also features his girlfriend who was in what was that show, Bates Motel, and then she was in Ready Player One, Olivia Cook. She's wonderful. Um, but fantastic film. Riz Ahmed again better win the Oscar for Best Actor because he very well deserves it. That's my pick for it. Last movie I want to recommend. This one is also on Hulu. It is a foreign film from Denmark called Another Round, and it stars the one of the actors that everyone loves, Mads Mikkelsen, who has just been all over the place recently. Yes,
Wait, did you say Another Round? That's
Another
the movie?
Round.
Yeah. I haven't seen it.
I wasn't going to ask you this time, Gabe, because of that elongated answer that all you had to say was a 2-letter word, and we got this huge sentence that probably is actually your middle name, that whole statement you gave earlier. So Another Round is Mads Mikkelsen is one of 4 high school teachers who are testing the scientific theory of a 5% APV could increase their just their work ethic, psychologically, physically, and they go through this process, and it's crazy. They all, of course, react differently to it, uh, and then, of course, start struggling with alcoholism slightly. Wonderful film. It's actually nominated for Best Foreign Feature, and the director, Thomas Vinterberg, was nominated for Best Director. So those are some great movies that I have seen recently. You can, like I said, Another Round could be found on Hulu. Possessor also found on Hulu. Promising Young Woman is on wherever you rent films right now. Wolfwalkers is on Apple Plus, and Sound of Metal is on Amazon Prime. So
And
there's some
Thomas
recommendations. And
and
what?
Thomas Vinterberg is my other middle name. So
Thomas Vinterberg is your other. Oh my
no.
god, how many middle names do you have?
How long is this podcast? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't
I only
know. We
have,
could keep it going.
yeah, right. I've only watched one film this past week besides Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3. And it was for film class, and it was the 2017 I would say animated film Loving Vincent.
Yeah,
And
tell me about this because I haven't seen it.
yes, there we go. Wow, it's a first.
Yay! Not.
No, but it was really great. I'm going to read the description off of IMDb. So it's a year after the death of Vincent Van Gogh. Postman Joseph Ruling Chris. Oh, no, yeah. Anyways, somebody didn't put a parentheses in this IMDb, so I'm mad at you. Gets his slacker son Armand to hand deliver the artist's final letter written to his now late brother Theo. But so it follows the slacker son, and I love the film so much that I went on YouTube and found out how it was made, and they got 80 artists to come and hand paint the scenes and stuff to the best to give an homage to Van Gogh, and it's just crazy to me how much emotion and the scenes they were able to do with like this artistic skill. And I had to write a paper on it, and I talked about if I thought it was just a gimmick or something that could be replicated. I thought a little bit of both. I think it was a gimmick, but it was a gimmick that worked perfectly in the artistic style to homage him. But also, like, it shouldn't be done for every film, But to
It
me,
was special. It was
it was special.
special
It
and
was similar
unique
to
the
like
experience of that film.
exactly. It was similar to the way that they did uh, Into the Spider-Verse. Like that was a very different animation style, and it was very unique, and it worked for that film. But it's not going to work for every film. And It was really cool. It was beautiful. I suggest seeing it. I got the link through class, so I don't even know how to watch it now. I'm sure if you go to justwatch.com, they'll tell you exactly how to watch it. But if you have some chance, go ahead and give it a little view.
I've seen the trailer for it, like when it was almost like released back in 2017. Apparently, it's on Hulu, so
There you go. Hulu it up. Watch
Hulu it up.
Loving Vincent.
Awesome. Well, when we come back, we are going to jump on Skype with our guest and author who used to work at the Great Movie Ride, Jon David. He's going to talk to us a little bit about his time working at the ride. We're going to talk movies, do Around the Track, and talk about his book a little bit. And more when we come back here on the Great Movie Radio Show. Stick around.
Hello, listeners of the Great Movie Radio Show. After you listen to this fantastic episode you're listening to, head on over to the Movie Nights YouTube channel and click subscribe. You like movies? Well, clearly you're listening to this show. Well, over at the Movie Nights, proud partner of the GMR show, we have several movie-related things. Reactions to your favorite shows, reviews to your favorite movies, and sometimes we even do podcasts with people within the industry and special weekly shows covering all of the movie news that you want to hear about. Thanks for listening to the GMR show, and head on over to Movie Nights, spelled with a K, because I think I'm funny sometimes.
And now the GMR show presents Moments in Film History.
Today's moment in film history is going to take us back to 1895, where an early film projector called the phantoscope was invented by Charles Francis Jenkins, who worked on the device with a colleague. That year, he partnered with a businessman to bring the projector to an exposition in Atlanta, where crowds marveled at their ability to watch films as a group. This has been another moment in film history, and you are listening to the Great Movie Radio Show.
All right, guys, so we're back. Our guest today worked at the Great Movie Ride. I feel like it's just the last guest, Chris. Am I right? That didn't work. It was just Jed this season so far.
So far.
Okay, we have another former movie ride and Mr. Jon David today. How are you doing today, John?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Of course,
It's
we are
frigid
excited.
cold here in Michigan.
Oh, I'm jealous. I wish
we still had.
I wish our cold was longer. You know, we have like 5 days of it, and then it was done.
Yep.
Cold is overrated.
Good old Florida.
But yeah, so you worked at Great Movie Ride in spring of '98 and winter of '98. But in Florida, that's just summer '98. Gotcha.
There we go. Yeah, I was on the college program. It was pretty awesome.
Awesome. Were you just the tour guide at Movie Ride, or did you get to do anything else? Any fun stuff?
No, just a tour guide. Unfortunately, I wasn't cool enough to be a bandit or a gangster, even though maybe I could have put on my gangster voice. Yeah, I could have been a pretty good gangster, though. I don't know of any. I don't know of any blonde gangsters in the movies. You know, maybe
We had a couple.
Well, that's what the head is for. Yeah.
Exactly. And you're along with Chris. Chris never had the pleasure of joining the Gangsters or Bandits as well. So, working at Movie Ride, what was your favorite section of the Movie Ride and why?
Oh, hands down, it was Oz. I think so, especially if you were on the A show, because you got to talk to the witch, and I won an award for the witch. I won the Best Be Gone for that particular one. My dad even framed it. So here, let me show you real quick. My dad framed my Best Be Gone here medal.
Oh, that's awesome!
Oh, nice.
Color copy of the back, and that's my name tag from the college program. And all these people also went to my college, and unfortunately, I don't know who any of them are, because basically we saw each other. And I wish I had a different picture of like me and the other movie writers who were also on the college program, because it would have been awesome. There was at least 20 of us, and it would have been great. But yeah, it was definitely Oz, because talking to the witch, you interact, because she is the only animatronic that you interact with, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I remember going to the ride, and it's like early heyday, and the witch just looked so great, and then towards the end, she did not. when I was there. So I was like, I'm sure in your time when you were there, it was an even cooler experience. But that's awesome. So going with that, what was your favorite memory, or maybe memories about working at the ride?
Let's see. Definitely the people. I mean, the other cast members. When you're around the other cast members, and anytime that I visited Disney World afterwards, it was always the cast members who made it, the most magical of experiences. Like the Jungle Cruise. Even though, some people might call the Jungle Cruise outdated or whatnot. No, the cast members still make it awesome. And just walking around, speaking with cast members is awesome too. But I worked with a bunch of great people, many of whom I've been able to reconnect with in recent years. Thanks to social media, it's been a blessing, and it's just really interacting with all of them.
That's awesome. I mean, if it wasn't for the Great Movie Ride and wasn't for social media and me meeting Chris and then him posting that he was doing this podcast. I mean, granted, I saw him at the theater and we would talk about it every now and then, but I saw he was officially doing it. I wouldn't be here. He started the podcast, I jumped in, and now I'm the co-host, and now we're doing Twitch nights, and it's a lot of fun. So, working the ride is fun. Doing the show is fun, but the memories you
the
make.
people you meet along the way that made it.
It
made it home. It made it home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No place like home.
And, the first time that I saw GMR, I was aware that there's a ride with the Wicked Witch and Alien. Wow, at Disney World. So I was aware of that. But when you first step into what was then known as the Disney MGM Studios, for me it will always be MGM. Yeah. Sorry, but anyway, first time I started walking to MGM, you're part of the show, you're part of the spectacle. And it was just like maybe even a little bit overwhelming. And as soon as you get into the vehicle and the Hooray for Hollywood starts, it's just like, wow. You're part of this big show. And again, it was the cast members who made it more. You had the connection there.
For sure. And I feel like, unfortunately, it was my favorite park, and I feel like, unfortunately, as the years went on, it kind of went away from that whole show Hollywood aspect. And once they took out Movie Ride, I feel like that whole idea of the park, the Hollywood that never was but always will be, kind of went away.
The heart of Hollywood Studios, of MGM Studios, has been removed. To be perfectly honest. And
anyway, let's cheer up the podcast, and let's not go down that rabbit hole, because we can be 3 hours, watch Back to the Future 3 more times, and just talking about that. But with that being said, with the memories you made with cast members, are there any cast members, trainers, or anybody you work with that you want to give a shout out to the podcast?
Well, the first time that I rode GMR, the first day, we were in this conference room with a bunch of other college programmers, and they all gave us our folders as to where we were going to be and all that. And this guy sitting across from me, his name is Bo, and Bo was just, he looked at it, when he saw what he got, he goes, "I got the Great Movie Ride." I'm like, "Oh, hey, he's happy. That's awesome. Good for you." He says, "What'd you get?" Hey, I got the Great Movie Ride too. Hey, that's pretty neat. So we should go over and check it out. So right after we were dismissed, 4 of us went over, and again the whole spectacle thing. Like, what? Holy crap! And the tour guide steps up, picks up the microphone, and I'm like, I'm going to be doing that. It was a little intimidating. I'm not going to lie, but I had the best trainer, Francine, and the shock collar was a very effective way of me learning my lines. That sort of deal. I kid, of course, but I
was going to say they must have discontinued that by the time we were there. I don't know.
I had it.
Okay. You had it?
Yeah, I had it for my training.
Back in our day, we had live. The Bandit and Gangster had live rounds there. So.
Goodness.
Oh man, well that's awesome. Yeah. Cool. So before we go on the track, we're going to talk about your top 5 favorite movies. We'll go through them really quick, and then kind of just talk about why they're on your top 5. So number 1, you have Lord of the Rings. Now, I don't know if you mean all of them, the first one, but I'm assuming if you just put Lord of the Rings, you're talking about all of them.
Pretty much.
Number 2, you have American.
One gigantic film divided into 3.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Number 2, you have American Werewolf in London. Number 3, classic From the Ride, Singing in the Rain. Number 4, Captain America 1 and 2, First Avenger and Winter Soldier. And then number 5, another classic, fortunately not on the ride, The Blues Brothers.
Oh, love that movie.
That would have been tricky to put that in the ride. You could have had, a cop car pile up, but there you go.
Sure.
Driving through the mall.
So just kind of, tell us why these movies made your top 5 and what makes them so special to you.
Well, with the exception of Lord of the Rings, the rest of them all came from my childhood, and even though a couple of them are rated R, thank you, cable TV, and they just really made an impact. Not only just from an entertainment standpoint, also from a writing standpoint too. I mean, there were big influences on my own writing. I'm a big fan of John Landis's style of writing, and of course Tolkien. Any fantasy writer has to, bow down to Tolkien and his style. And I really, Peter Jackson just really nailed it when it came to Lord of the Rings.
We were just watching Back to the Future, and one of our viewers said, "Oh, next time you should do all Lord of the Rings."
Gabe's like, "That's for Chris," and I'm like, "Yep, that's me."
To which I don't know. I think maybe now are we talking extended editions?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, blasphemy. Yeah, of course we are talking.
No,
you should do it one episode at a time.
Oh man,
truly soak in the 4 hours for each film.
All right, so went through top 5. And now we're going to hand it off to Chris. Chris is going to be the tour guide for this one, and he's going to take you around the track.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Great Movie Radio Show. My name's Chris, and we're going to
can I get off? I just realized I have to go to the bathroom.
Is the ride with Jaws? Sorry, that was asked once. That was asked.
Is this a ride or a show? I ever tell you that, Gabe? My friend, he was like, "It's a righty show." My friend Hubert called it a righty show.
And it's ironic that you mentioned Back to the Future, because somebody did ask me once when I was out front as the greeter, "Hey, where's the Back to the Future ride?" Wrong park. And somebody asked me, "Where's the Jaws ride?" Wrong park. Okay.
Womp womp.
Everybody has a guest story. So hey, this guy wants.
Well, we're going to start here around the track with musical, and we've got, let's see, the 1962 Morton DaCosta, The Music Man. What about this movie made it a sensational musical for you, John?
Robert Preston, hands down. He commands every single minute that he is on screen. He is the ultimate. When you think of Harold Hill, other people have played Harold Hill, but with all due respect to them, Robert Preston is Harold Hill. And it just, I so wish that I could have seen it on, if I had a time machine, again, the Back to the Future reference, if I had a time machine, heck, I would want to go back to see Robert Preston playing Music Man at Broadway, because he played the Broadway version too. And they wanted him. It's only him. Only he could be Harold Hill. I completely agree. Not to mention the music is just catchy.
What scene from this? So this is the fun part where you get to use your imagination. Do you have a scene from The Music Man that would be we're strolling in the musical? Here's the first thing to kick off GMR for you. What scene would that be?
Oh, Trouble.
Are you Mr. Dunlop? Yeah. Well, either you're closing your eyes to a situation you do not wish to acknowledge, or you are not aware of the caliber of disaster indicated by the presence of a pool table in your community. Well, you got trouble, my friend. Right here, I say trouble right here in River City. Why, sure, I'm a billiard player. Certainly mighty proud to say I'm always mighty proud to say it. I consider that the hours I spend with a cue in my hand are golden.
The song Trouble right here in River City. And he's just so, I don't want to say, bear in mind, he's a snake oil salesman. And he's there to get their money and get out of town and almost cheat them. But, he does it so well. And he does it just with class and just with panache. And there we go. I mean, there's nobody better than Robert Preston when it comes to that. One of my favorite Simpsons episodes where they spoofed the Music Man. So
that's right, they did, didn't they?
Monorail.
Oh man,
it's a shame that Robert Preston was dead at the time. He had died a few years earlier, and it would have been awesome if he had like guest starred as the guy. I forget the character name, but the guy there to sell the monorail. But they got Phil.
Oh, you can't go wrong with Phil Hartman. He was the best. I still miss him. I watch old SNL episodes and I cried that he's not a that and what was that horrible Christmas movie? My wife loves it. Jingle All the Way. He was in that as the.
Did you just call Jingle All the Way a horrible Christmas movie?
It's not. It's a great movie as far as camp goes, but it's a really loosey goosey movie.
How dare you?
It's a film that had potential, and I understood the whole joke that they were making about the toy because every parent has been there. Because my dad was there when my dad was in the mall in 1984 when Transformers came out, and basically he went through that.
Gabe's like, "Good Lord, Transformers!"
Yeah, and to hear my dad explain as to what he went through to get us Transformers, me and my brother, to which I had like 5 or 6 Autobots under one arm, and I was smacking away other parents with a plastic lightsaber, and this is what I did for you. So I hope you appreciate it. And we did. So
we did.
Hey, he got me my Transformer. There we go.
There you go. Now granted, my wife loves it. It's a really campy. It's a movie that if you watched it in your childhood, you cherish it. But
yes.
if I had just saw Jingle All the Way for the first time yesterday, I would crap all over it.
Gross.
Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna cut that whole part out because we're gonna Jingle All the Way. We're gonna move on to. Oh my God, I love this movie, and I will say I watched it for the first time over quarantine. I had a large list of movies to go through that I hadn't seen, and this was on it, and I finally found it on a streaming service.
TV.
And I love The Untouchables. Kevin Costner, Sean Connery, De Niro, De Palma just made this fantastic Prohibition era film with them, and I love this movie. What about it for you? So I'm assuming this is one that you caught on TV in your youth, and you were sneaky about it, and you were just like, I love it.
Actually, no. It's one of those films that I didn't appreciate in my youth. It's just like the exact opposite. You see a film in your youth and you appreciate it and you love it because you saw it in your youth. To which I saw briefly on TV and I wasn't interested because I was so young. But now I appreciate it. And when you think, when I think Capone, I think De Niro. It's that simple.
Oh, yeah.
He's such a ruthless, SOB in this movie, and that was Al Capone. And just when you think Al Capone, you have to think Robert De Niro, and of course Connery's performance, and
won an Oscar.
Yeah, he won Best Supporting Actor, and just bingo. I completely understand why he got that. It
was fantastic, and that whole scene with him, I'm sure the people who have watched it and are listening know which one I'm talking about. But I didn't see it coming right away, but it happened, and I was just like, oh God!
Somebody spoiled it for me.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Gabe, have you seen The Untouchables? No.
I'm looking at it's on the. I'm like saving it because it's on the Showtime app.
I was about to tell you, IMDb saying it's on Showtime, so if you have access to that,
I don't want people for good. So yeah, and you don't watch it edited. There are some movies that you never watch edited. That's one of them. So yeah,
I feel like if it's on Showtime, it should be good.
Yeah, Showtime will have the full cut. It's like TBS or TNT would probably cut it if it was on cable.
Oh heck yeah, they would cut too much.
AMC might even cut it a little bit too, because I know you watch AMC quite a bit, Gabe. All right, so here's a fun part. We're about to do a gangster show. Gabe's going to take over as the gangster. Do you have a scene, not only that you would put in Gangster Alley on the ride, but something that we could maybe interact with to have Gabe come in and hijack the vehicle?
Well, Gangster Alley is too grimy for any scene with Capone, ironically, because he's always living in opulence, and clean, his nice clean clothes and all that. So maybe like
You can shine it up a bit. You do what you want.
You have no budget. You have all the money in the world. Go crazy.
This is your movie rights, sir.
In that case, it's where De Niro takes the baseball bat, hands down the baseball bat, and he gives it to the two animatronics with the Tommy guns. There we go.
There you go.
Baseball. A man stands alone at a plate. This is the time for what? For individual achievement. There he stands alone. But in the field, what? Part of a team.
Teamwork. They'll take care of the tour guide. I'll jump on the vehicle. We'll take over.
Hey, thanks,
you'll come out as Al Capone with the baseball bat and hand it over.
Yeah. Yeah. Red light.
Everybody keeps throwing the bat at them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I took over now. It is my ride. This is my accent for a gangster, right? Is that a gangster? No.
That's it. All right, Gabe's going to take over as Al Capone with his horrible accent, and we'll be right back. The Great Movie Radio Show.
Shut up, you two. You want to blow our cover? Psst. Hey, you. You're listening to the Great Movie Radio Show starring Chris and Gabe. Don't nobody move until we get back, or else, if you know what I mean.
Warning. Remain on this podcast. The advertisement you are experiencing is extremely dangerous. Proceed with caution.
Hey, Great Movie Radio Show listeners. Hope you're enjoying this show, and we want you to be a part of it. Head over to the gmrshow.com and to our contacts page and sign up below. Make sure to add Back to the Future 3 to your list.
Hey, what are you looking at? Hit the subscribe button to catch more of the Great Movie Radio Show starring Chris and Gabe, and maybe you won't get hurt.
Here they come, boss!
Would you look at that, a red light. Running a red light's against the law, and I would never break the law. No more red light.
Autumn Star Entertainment is an independent producer of movies and video. Their goal is to provide Hollywood-level entertainment for low to no budget. Check them out on Facebook.com/Autumn Star Entertainment or on Twitter at AutumnStarENT.
Time for Chris and Gabe, hosts of the Great Movie Radio Show, to get back to work. I better lay low for a while, the heat's on. On second thought, I could go for some popcorn.
Welcome back to the Great Movie Radio Show. I have taken over the vehicle. I handed off a bat to the animatronics, and they are taking care of Chris as we speak. So he may never come back. We'll see.
It hurts!
So we're going to head into Western. The Lawrence Kasdan. Am I saying that right? Kasdan?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, maybe it's Kazdan. No, Kazam. The Lawrence Kasdan 1985 film Silverado. For all the listeners who's been listening since I've joined, you know Western is not my forte. But we saw my favorite Western today. But we're going to talk about John's favorite Western, Silverado. John, why is it your favorite Western?
Probably because of its style, the way that it's handled. Not so much of its plot, but just for me, it was the first Western. The only Westerns that I had seen up until then were like all in black and white, or they were old. You know, they shoot a six gun. There's no blood. The guy does this. You know, he clutches his chest and he falls over, and that sort of deal. To where this actually looked like a pretty gritty Western to me. And says, wow, okay. Now I'm a little bit more into westerns now because it's a little more realistic and it's a little more updated and modern. Even though there have been plenty of westerns, like with Clint Eastwood and all that, which I hadn't seen at the time. But just Silverado made an impact with me over that.
And this is now the second movie in a row that we have Kevin Costner starring in it too.
Yeah.
I see a trend. It's going to be the Kevin Costner movie ride. No,
I was about to say that.
Silverado, yeah, you said 85, so Silverado came first.
Oh, okay. See, there we go.
Yeah, I had to think a moment to which, wait a minute, which came first? That or, yeah.
The chicken or the egg? I'm just kidding. All right, so we're going to do the same thing kind of like Gangster. I've taken over the vehicle, but in the instance that we do have an A vehicle go through, pick a scene that maybe Cowboy, maybe Kevin Costner hijacks the vehicle or something. What scene from Silverado would you put in your movie ride?
Oh, definitely when he's shooting both six guns, and the guy, he's on the steps with his shotgun, and he's just shooting up the steps, and just going boom, 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 and I just thought that was pretty awesome. Oh, he's just having a good time.
Hey.
If I was an actor and I had to play one character in that movie, it would have been Costner's character, I think, just because he looked like he was having a ball playing that character.
Jake.
And I feel like it's similar to what we had at the Great Movie Ride, and even with the gangster going through, it would still work. So, no, that's awesome. All right, I'm excited about the next one because out of the first three movies, this is the first one that I've seen, and you actually have two movies for your sci-fi. So we're going to kind of talk about both. Now, you put first two Terminator movies. I don't know why you didn't put the third. It was an Oscar award-winning performance and just blew me out of the water and is my favorite, and I can't keep saying this lie. But first two Terminator movies, obviously amazing movies with Arnold. I remember watching them. I didn't watch them in theaters. I wasn't even born when the first one came out. But I just remember watching them, and I was just like so confused the first time I watched them, and I went, "Wait, so he's bad? No, he's good." And then I kept watching. I'm like, "Oh, okay, now I get it. Okay, I got it. Cool." But enough about me. Why do the first two Terminator movies fall under your favorite sci-fi?
Because first of all, they're not just science fiction, but also time travel. They're one of the best time travel movies ever. The whole time travel paradox as to what could be, and just James Cameron was just in his, he's in his element with these two films. A lot of his films have both heart and a brain as well. Why can't you bring back a ray gun? They explain that. Why? So he's a machine, but surrounded by flesh, so therefore he looks like a human being. So therefore, they have a brain, but they also have a heart with the humanity aspect to it. It's the first one is a tragic love story. The second one is Sarah Connor's redemption of having all this hate and all this animosity and just all this anger. I'm the only one who knows that the world is going to end, and no one believes me. But then she grows over these two films. It's actually, it's the story is primarily about Sarah Connor, and just how she goes on this journey throughout both films is pretty amazing. And if you really want to get down to good time travel and good films with loads of action, but also with a brain and a heart, there you go. You go with the first two Terminator films, hands down.
For sure. I mean, I love them. At Universal, they took away the show and they have the Bourne Spectacular, which is great. But I love that show and I love the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I watched them the first two times and I was kind of confused, and I was like, okay, this makes sense. He's a different robot, same skin. If they're doing mass production of these robots, it's pretty smart. They would all honestly look the same. And then you start getting different brands.
Though I would think that Skynet would still kind of learn from its mistakes. To which, okay, we should probably make them all look different. Otherwise, human beings are just going to say, okay, we're looking for a really big Austrian dude. Okay, okay, that's the Terminator right there. Hey, yeah, say
Well, maybe
he's
maybe
got
the first one. He was the GoFundMe prototype, and the second one is like, oh, we have the money, so we put more inside of him, but we wasted all the money inside of him, and now we can't get new skin. And then the T-1000 came after that one. You know.
There we go. I saw the first Terminator on cable again. Rated R films on cable, woohoo! But I had the joy of seeing the sequel in the theater, and it was truly awesome. Another film that needs to be re-released, really, because it was truly awesome. And the thing that I remember most was that the woman sitting behind us, me and my brothers, she was like gasping at all the big scenes, like where the T-1000 killed someone. She went, "Oh my lord! Oh Jesus! What was that?" It just, lady. Okay, thanks.
I want that commentary track on my Blu-ray.
Pete, stabbed him through the head with his finger. What's going on here?
Fun thing about Terminator, when the recent Movie Ride Quarantine Edition with all the movie writers who submitted clips, I actually was, out of the three things I did, one of them was the Terminator clip in finale, the "I'll be back" iconic moment. So I was very happy to get to do that, and I'll never be as good as Arnold, of course, because oh god, what a classic. I do have a question. Did you see, and if you did you like the new one, Terminator Dark Fate? Because it's supposed to be, they canceled out like all these other Terminator movies, and this is supposed to be a direct sequel to Terminator 2. What was your opinion about it if you saw it?
Based on his face, I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, and
Gosh, you gave it 2 thumbs up. That's amazing.
Thumbs
Wow.
down, folks. Wow.
Big
He
thumbs
said
up.
Twilight number 1, Terminator Dark Fate number 2.
I thought we weren't bringing up Twilight.
I had to.
I know you did.
Terminator 2 is one of the best sequels ever made. And for the primary reason is that it has all the action and intelligence and good storytelling of the first one, and it just takes the next up to the next level while still maintaining all of that good storytelling. So yeah, it's the perfect 2 films, to which, hey, it can't get any better than that. I mean, if you're a writer, there you go. So yeah, thumbs down on Dark Fate. Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine.
You're fine. So now my question is, what scene would you put from either movie? You could transition it so it's both movies on your movie ride.
And put it in Alien?
So in theory, yes, it would be replacing Alien. But again, you have no budget. You can make Alien like that scene longer, bigger, explosions.
And don't feel bad because you're replacing a franchise that James Cameron has been a part of with another franchise that James Cameron has been a part of. So in theory, it's okay.
Yes, this is true. I mean, you could have Sarah Connor and Ellen Ripley team up, and to take an out both Terminators and Aliens. There you go. I mean,
there's a comic book waiting to happen.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, there was RoboCop versus Terminator. There was Aliens.
Yeah.
There was Aliens and Predator, to which that's the way old school Hollywood did it. To which Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. There you go. We need more of these. I don't know if we should need more of these films, but hey. And Sarah Connor joins Ellen Ripley in blowing away both Aliens and Terminators. There we go.
That would be fun.
All right. Hey, listen, we said the sky's the limit. And
I don't think I have a sound clip for that, though. I'll find something.
You could just have a whole bunch of machine guns going off, and the machine guns from Aliens going off. There you go.
I'll just have the theme at the beginning of Skynet robots walking around. There we go.
Yeah, you could have Ellen Ripley goes as "Get away from her, you." Yes.
Well, have fun with that, Chris.
Thanks. Thank you.
We're going to move on to the action adventure. Now, you had some great movies on the list, but in honor, we just finished watching all 3 Back to the Future movies on Twitch. We decided, out of your list, your action adventure movie is going to be Back to the Future. Now, we spent 6 hours talking about Back to the Future, commentating, falling in love with it all over again.
Mhm.
We're talked out on Back to the Future. It's really heavy, man. But we want to hear why you love this movie.
Oh, definitely. It falls under the just like with the Terminator. It has both brains and a heart. You can almost tell that it kind of again, when you think of a quintessential time travel movie, which is better, the Terminator or Back to the Future? To which Back to the Future is more lighthearted for sure. It has more comedic moments, but again, its humor and its heart really shine through. Granted, if you're not into sci-fi, you could probably adjust more into Back to the Future. Because it's Marty McFly and he's meeting his parents. Okay, yeah, okay, this is pretty funny. But yeah, if you had to think of something like that, a quintessential time travel movie, flip a coin, Back to the Future or the Terminator, and it was just really. I'm really impressed with filmmakers of the past who didn't have CGI or didn't have as much CGI. How the heck are we going to do this? We're going to rely upon writing. We're going to rely upon dialogue. We're going to rely upon good acting. And there you go. Back to the Future is it when you really get down to it.
And we were talking about that during our Twitch stream. Like, we had a couple of people chatting with us. It's the perfect movie. There is not anything wrong with it. There's no loose ends in the script. Everything connects with each other.
Well,
even throughout the other two. What was that?
I said until we get to the third one, then we started being like, what's wrong with that?
Well, I'm thinking purely on the first one. The first one is like the perfect sci-fi adventure, action, comedy, whatever you want to call it. It's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it.
This is true.
It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to pull off.
With Apollo 13, and we're going to be bringing that up, is which I had to think, what movies would you give a 10 out of 10? Well, a movie that I can't find any flaws with, that I just enjoyed it, and I'm not going to complain about anything about it, to which I didn't like this or didn't like that, to which Back to the Future is up there. It might very well be. But the one thing that, my brothers and I, we debate about movies and TV and all the time. And, he's talking about, how Back to the Future at the very end when everything's great and all that, to which I pointed out, well, technically Marty isn't home, is he? And he goes, what? For him, it's an alternate timeline. Technically he's not home, but since it's better, hey, I'm not going to complain. Hey, my parents are better. My brother and sister is better. I got a cool car. There we go.
I talked about that a lot. I said I wanted his truck at the end of the movie. I still want it. But anyways, I digress. So I feel like with this movie being as perfect as it is, there's so many iconic scenes. But we want to know what iconic scene you would put in your great movie, Red.
Oh, you got to have the DeLorean is a character in and of itself. I mean, we haven't had a real film in recent years where the vehicle is also a character. I mean, you had the Ghostbusters Ecto 1. You have all the different Batmobiles. But yeah, you got to have the DeLorean, and you could have animatronic Marty speeding by in the DeLorean at a giant flash as he blasts Back to the Future. There we go.
I love it. That's great.
That would be fun.
Mm-hmm. And
why don't we have the ride vehicle go 88 mile? We could just turn it into a roller coaster. Oh God!
Well, I was asked that too more than once as a greeter. To which is this scary? I mean, does it drop, go around? To which we have an alien come out try to kill you, but other than that, it just goes. There we are.
Awesome.
I told
that's great.
The 5-year-old kid was really scared about the thing about going on, to which I just leaned in and told him that, hey, just remember, it's only a movie. And he was happy. There we go. All right.
Nice.
Okay, I'm a little bit more positive about this. Let's do this.
Nice. All right, so we're going to jump into the horror and decide my fate as the gangster before Chris takes over. So we went with the 1982 version, not the remake, of The Thing.
Which in and of itself is a remake.
Well, yes, this is true. This is true. But not the remake of the remake. The remake. The remake is an addition.
The prequel that the studio kind of messed up by putting a bunch of CGI in.
The John Carpenter.
Yes.
There we go.
Classic.
There we go.
It's a shame that the movie apparently didn't do well in the theater. It's one of those films that just caught on thanks to cable TV and thanks to you name it, movie rentals and all that. And just glad that it did. Again, another film that I wish I could have seen on the big screen, but of course, I was only 7, and but just seeing that film scared the bejesus out of me. That might very well be the scariest movie I'd ever seen in my life, because there's a monster, you don't know who the monster is, and that combined with the gore, just amped it up to 11.
Yeah.
1982 had quite a few movies that like bombed at the box office, but have like turned cult status. You got Blade Runner, Thing, Tron. These are like fantastic movies that,
Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal, that changed the game for the type of film they were, but they were just not appreciated. It's almost like they were way ahead of their time back then. Going back to something you said earlier, I think with Untouchables, how you watched it and didn't appreciate it, but as you got older and saw it again, you appreciate it. I was like that for Blade Runner. I didn't quite grasp it. And I think it was just the lack of understanding. Like, I liked where I was. I liked what was going on, but I just didn't get the bigger picture. And then as an adult, I got it. And it's one of my favorites now. It's in my top 5.
Yeah. See, I didn't see Blade Runner until after Terminator. And I'm watching it with my brother. He says, "You've never seen Blade Runner? Sit down, you're watching Blade Runner." And I'm like, they're supposed to be robots? Okay. I'm not scared of them at all. I've seen Terminator. That I'm scared of. So seeing them, I'm not so scared of. And, it's one of those films, again, it's great science fiction, of course, Philip K. Dick, based off his great work. And, it makes you think. That sort of deal. And Rutger Hauer isn't just a mustache twirling villain just out to kill people. No, he's got a right to be a little bit pissed. I'm about to die. Yeah, I don't want to die. There we go. So it's smart. It's not only a great has great action in it, but it's also smart science fiction when you really get down to it.
And everyone, you could say the same thing for The Thing. It's a smart movie, and they don't make them like that anymore. They really don't.
No, they don't, sadly. And I think we need a new renaissance. We need Hollywood needs to be shaken up. To which I really don't know what's gonna slap them upside the head. They try to remake this, or remake that, and all that, and just what the heck.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I feel like, it's going to, like you said, like that spot where we're just remaking movies, or, essentially doing like remaking movies, but calling them different things. Like, oh, what was that idea in that movie? Okay, you know what? We're just going to do this and change this character, and now she's a guy and he's a girl, and there we go, new movie.
Kind of like, that recent one with, Rebel Wilson and Anne Hathaway. It was literally a remake of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. They named it The Hustle. It's called The Hustle. I remember it, but it was
there you go.
It was. I didn't even watch any of it. I watched maybe 2 minutes of it doing walkthroughs at work, and it's a shame that they'll just rehash ideas, and the originality is just, I don't know. We need more of it, and I'm hoping after this whole, the movies that have been on hold, but then a wave after that, hopefully we'll get some people who maybe wrote during quarantine. And we're getting some fresh ideas, and we're getting some good stories.
There you go. I mean, if you're willing to spend $200 million on something that's not original, imagine what you could have done if you had spent, say, $50 million on a new idea. And that's part of the problem with some films, is that they're spending too much money on them. Will it bomb? Well, of course it bombed. It cost $200 million. And another issue is that you mentioned The Hustle. Well, it's Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and even though it's not the most famous film of all time, it's still a popular enough film. Why do you keep remaking classic films? The Thing is a remake, but they remade a B movie. They remade a movie, a black and white movie with bad special effects, and they couldn't get away with anything in terms of fright or scares. They can't show blood. They can't show this. They show this monster played by James Arness from Gunsmoke, and he looks like Frankenstein. Which I am not scared of that. I'm not scared of that. But again, I had seen the '82 Thing first,
and it's frightening. Really
So what if you're going to remake something? Why don't you remake something that we've never heard of, or something that had a good premise but had it wasn't very good, to be perfectly honest. But let's update it. We're going to tweak it. We're going to give it new special effects because it didn't have a budget back then. So there we go.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that's a lot of problems with the remakes nowadays. They're like, oh, we have to change things up, but then they usually change things that were good. We're like, oh, why did you change? That was the good part of the movie. You should
make it better, not worse.
Yeah. So, anyways, we'll be talking about remakes and Hollywood for hours. So now we gotta kill me off. So we are using The Thing to kill me off. What scene would you put in there to end it?
So let's see. We got to kill the gangster. Huh? How are we going to kill the gangster? Yeah. Well, obviously kill it with a flamethrower. Sorry.
All right.
What do you got in mind, McCready?
A little test. Windows. You and Palmer tie everybody down real tight.
What for?
For your health.
Come on, let's rush him. He's not going to blow us all up.
No, wait a minute. Let's do what Max says. I mean, he wasted Norris pretty quick, didn't he?
That's close enough, Clark.
He ain't tying me up.
Then I'll have to kill you, child.
All right.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious: is the tour guide going to dress up as the Thing? Is he going to dress up as the monster in the movie?
Well, hey, take your pick. There you go.
It's your pick. It's your
pick. The gangster or the bandit needs to be the creature.
Or maybe the creature comes out of nowhere, kills the bandit, gets, hey, no problem, I got a flamethrower. Oops, I got you too. So,
collateral damage.
Or the tour guide could be the creature, kill him, and then rip it off. I'm like, just kidding. I don't know. But you're right.
There's so many good ideas you could do with that, but I like the idea of it being like when they're all in that room together. All right, we got to contain it in this room. We've got a flamethrower. Which one of you is it? Because you're dead. That's like one of the best parts of the whole movie.
You putting the hot needle to the blood?
Yeah. Oh, I love that part. It's so good.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm done for the episode because I've been burned to ashes. Now, Chris is going to take us away.
Awesome. Well, we're going to... Oh, my God. I love that part. We're going to go into drama. Now, you didn't really have one listed, so before we started recording our episode, we kind of gave you some options, and you agreed with our dealer's choice. Apollo 13. No, Gabe, shut up. No one needs to talk about Twilight. No one needs to talk about Twilight. Hush.
No, I was going to tell him the funny story because you put like, ew, yuck. You put like other stuff.
Yes,
makes me gag. So we were thinking, is there a movie called Make Me Gag? And I found a drama, but it was called Gag Me. And it's not like an adult movie. It was like a film where this guy was afraid to go to the dentist. He goes to the dentist, and then all of a sudden, the world of the dentist turns into like this whole dominatrix thing. And we almost talked about that, and we're like, no, we don't know him. We don't want to weird him out or weird our viewers, and like we're not listening anymore. So let's put Apollo 13. But I was like,
so Apollo 13.
There we go. If I had to pick a perfect 10, that's a film I can't find any flaws with. It's historically accurate because anytime I see a film that is based off of real events, because somebody, I forget who, mentioned how there's actually a difference between based on a true story, which is mentioned in the credits, and based on true events, to which one is more historically accurate and one takes a few more liberties. To which Apollo 13, because it was so famous, everybody was glued to their TVs. They actually, they had to be completely historically accurate. So if you had to pick, it might very well be the most historically film of all time, for all I know, because of that. Because everybody, they were in communication with Jim Lovell and his crew throughout the entire endeavor.
It's a fantastic film. And what's great is Kevin Costner is no longer the lead actor or person involved in our ride. We have 2 films involving Ron Howard now, so we've got a twofer.
We're keeping up the Kevins. Now we replaced Costner for Bacon.
The director. There we go.
Keep it up with the Kevins. Kevin Bacon. I had to go look over at our last film we're going to talk about. I don't want to jump too far ahead and see if any of them, because there's so many people that they voiced in that movie, but no Kevin Bacon, no Kevin Costner, so that's okay. Do you have a scene from Apollo 13 that you would put into the drama segment, since you're, I don't want to say against it, but it's not your favorite, that you would replace or overwrite Tarzan and Casablanca with?
Oh, well, not Casablanca, but Tarzan. I would say, hey, you could have the space capsule splashing down and get the people wet. I mean,
expect entry interface in 45 seconds. And on my mark, your velocity will be 35,245 feet per second. Marked. 35 seconds to entry interface.
Gentlemen, it's been a privilege flying with you.
Because that's really the best moment of the scene was its ending. It just leaves you on such a high note, and there you go. You could have the space capsule splashing down, or you could have the space capsule flying through space. I don't know. It's just with the vapor leaking out.
I kind of
like the
the
idea
space
of
idea.
flashing the guest. Just it lands on the right side of the vehicle, so the tour guide is like, good. They put up a
Okay.
screen.
They could have
Flash shield pop up.
Otherwise, the tour guides are always going to be wet. There you go. To which, funny thing, we were actually talking in the break room one day, to which somebody suggested, we got to get rid. They should really replace Tarzan because who knows who Johnny Weissmuller is? And one dude suggested Braveheart, to which you could have Mel Gibson on his horse with his face painted blue, and he gives his famous freedom speech. And somebody else suggested, okay, that's on one side of the vehicle. On the other side, are they going to have a bunch of animatronic Scotsmen mooning the people? It's,
Yes.
To which,
there's like a task in the rotation where it's, hey, go to Braveheart,
go
stand in as an animatronic and moon the guest.
Hey, that'd be cool. Hey.
It's funny because when we were looking at movies to help you with the drama section, Braveheart did come up. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, that was a film that I actually said that my brothers dragged me to see in the theater, and it's another film that I didn't exactly appreciate, and I almost wish that I didn't go find out about William Wallace, the real William Wallace. To which, Braveheart might very well be the most historically inaccurate film of all time. Because when you find out about the real William Wallace, and because I like doing that when it comes to a historical film, so I like also watching some documentaries about it and finding about Apollo 13 again, really historically accurate film, with the exception that Jim Lovell and the astronauts, they when you hear them over the radio, the real Jim Lovell, their voices are actually kind of calm. To which Houston, we have a problem. Yeah, we're doing this. Now we're going to do this. And just as the spacecraft might very well implode on you. And yet these guys had ice water in their veins, man. Just so Tom Hanks and the others had to really kind of amp up the feeling, to which the frustration. Otherwise, the audience is going to be bored. Audience is going to be bored because it's okay. Try to amp things up a little bit. and sounded a little frustrated or sounded a little bit nervous, there we go.
We're going to go on because I'm tired of looking at the moon, and that could be Braveheart or Apollo 13, whichever way you want to take it.
You want to moon you?
No,
Okay.
no, Gabe, stop. We're going to go into animation with the Don Bluth 1982, another 1982 film. Here you go. The Secret of NIMH.
There we go.
What a fantastic film. I have not seen it in a long time. I think I was a kid the last time I saw it, but it was, oh my gosh, it was a fantastic film, one I grew up on. Dom DeLuise, anything he was in, I was a fan of. What about this movie for you, for the animation segment?
It is a film that made me want to be an animator when I was a kid, to which I wanted to draw things that came to life. And I met a Disney animator when I worked at Disney when the animation building was still open. He was one of the guys who actually worked on Mulan. And he said that, animators are actors who draw. Wow, that's pretty stoic. And hands down, Secret of NIMH, ironically not a Disney film, but a lot of people confuse it for a Disney film. Heck no, it's much darker. And the thing that I love about it is that it's a film that an adult can watch or a kid can watch and be entertained, not be bored, not have their intelligence insulted or anything like that. And it's just an animated film that is appropriate for kids to watch, but you can just see all the hard work that was put into it. And that's really what The Dark Crystal was on TV earlier today, and I haven't seen that in forever. That's another example of a film that was intended for younger audiences, but so much hard work was put into it. They wanted to make a good film. And when it comes to Don Bluth, he was in his A game with that movie, and he made a darn good film that anyone could enjoy, even if you're not normally into animated films. I think you could enjoy it for just its color and its again, all the hard work that went into it, and also again its heart. Just its characters. You just really feel for Mrs. Brisby as her battle to try to save her family. She's just a mom trying to save her family. There you go. She's Sarah Connor before Sarah Connor.
It's like the mouse version of Sarah Connor.
There we go.
Do you have a favorite scene from Secret of NIMH that would be your and it doesn't have to be, because everyone knows that, well, not everyone, but we know that Fantasia was a scene that they kind of layered over where the tornado for Oz was supposed to be, and it was just literally a screen of him doing the same thing over. So previous episodes we've talked about, you can make it interactive. You could do more than just one part of an animation screen. You could layer the animation throughout the whole curve right there. What would you do with Secret of NIMH in that area?
I love the scene with the great owl.
Why have you come?
Please, forgive me for disturbing you, but my son's life is in great danger. The plow has come early this year.
Move your family.
Just it shows Mrs. Brisby at her bravest. This is the most scared that she is throughout the entire film. She's going into an owl, the home of an owl, a creature that eats mice. She encounters the spider. Ooh, it's creepy. But just she's terrified. But because the love of her family, and it just shows how brave she is, going to see this creature that could possibly help her or possibly eat her. So there's that, and just not to mention that the great owl is also a pretty impressive form of animation.
I agree. I love these older movies. They don't make them like that anymore. And of course, animation has for some movies has gotten better, and for some they're just unnecessary.
I call it the sin of animation, to which here it is. You have the ability to create whatever you want. There's absolutely no limit The only limit is your imagination. You can draw whatever you want, and now because of computers, you can animate through computers anything you want. What do? Let's make a bunch of singing mice. Guys, come on! Look at Secret of NIMH. Here it is. You have mice, but they're not singing, but it's still, a compelling film, and just there you go. What are you gonna do?
Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into comedy now, and we're going to go, instead of singing mice, we have singing puppets. Popular Broadway actor Gary Johnson is recruited by the counter-terrorism organization Team America. World Police.
Heck yeah.
Bleep, yeah. So we're going to try to be as... we try not to go too crazy on the language on this show, so if we do, forgive us. We're going to let loose a little bit here. I think we deserve to a little bit. And let's talk about it. So Team America, it's
my brother
Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the minds of South Park. And you're going to end your great movie ride with Team America.
Good Lord. It's ironic that that we're talking about this because JoeBlow.com, a movie site, they recently had a video, WTF happened to this film. And they were talking about Trey Parker and Matt Stone. They were at their A game. They were doing this. They were doing this. They were doing this. They were basically burning the candle at both ends to make this film. And again, it's a movie to where, wow, when you really stop and look at all the hard work that went into this, with the puppets and the backgrounds, and just like with France, for example, if you notice, the cobblestone streets are croissants. If you look at the puppets of Team America, their uniforms, their belt buckles are quarters.
I've never noticed that now.
Somebody pointed this out, and they said to it, if you actually, if you have like high def, you pause it and just look around, or you just at least look at the making of Team America, you appreciate it a little bit more, and it's just not this incredibly goofy and foul-mouthed film that jabs everybody. That's the thing that I admire about it, is that everyone gets hit, and we. It's kind of like Blazing Saddles, to where we are not targeting any one person. We are just going to make a funny film. If you are offended, you're welcome. Whatever. Okay. Trey Parker and Matt Stone were at their A game when it comes to this.
So are we going to go into this area now? Usually it would be Oz, and you would diss the witch. Are we going to go into this with America? Yeah. Sing along at the end of your great. Is that what you want to do, or do you have any ideas to go into this?
Why not? I would love to see a replica of Mount Rushmore opening up, and just there we go, a whole bunch of vehicles flying out to it. What the heck's going on here? Okay, either that or Team America shooting the crap on a bunch of celebrities. There we are. Yes. Tim Robbins getting set on fire with the cigarette.
I'm currently watching. I have it muted, but I'm watching the trailer, and I just forgot how amazing and hilarious this movie is, and now I really want to watch it.
I have the DVD
6
on my
hours
shelf.
watching
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Hey, I've sat and watched 14 hours of Lord of the Rings. You can watch 6 hours of Back to the Future and then go to sleep on an hour and a half Team America. You got this.
After having school.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Oh, my God. Could you imagine just the car going in and little kids being like, Mommy, what's this? Cover your ears.
Cover your eyes and ears. Jeez.
Oh, my goodness.
No. Imagine them going to Muppet Vision 3D, and they're like, "Oh, we have a fast pass now for a great movie ride," and they're like, and they get like, "Mom, this is like the Muppets." No, it's not. Go.
At least we're not including the puppet romance segment.
Yeah, no, that's probably
That's not happening. That's John's face. Like, no. You put this on your list, man. You asked for this.
You asked me. I gave an honest answer.
Touche.
What's a funny film? Okay, here we go. I thought this movie was funny. It's either that or Full Metal Jacket. I laugh at that.
Oh, man. Well, we're going to come back to Doc. However, before we end our show, we're going to talk with John a little bit about his recent... I'm assuming that's what we're going to talk about, your recent book?
Yes.
Yeah, so tell us about it's a series, I believe, right? Or you're starting one?
Yes, it's a fantasy series. I sought out a publisher for a long time. I was self-published for a while, but I found a publisher, and last July, they published the first part of my 4-part epic fantasy series, starring my demonic heroine Morgalla, and it's called The Savage Peak.
The Savage Peak. Do you wanna give our listeners a brief synopsis of it, real quick?
Well, like I said, Morgalla, forget what you think about Hell. Hell is actually more like Mordor. I think you would appreciate it. It's a more civilized version of Mordor, and demons are the orcs, and they're ruled over by the mysterious Dark One, a creature who they do not see or hear, but know is always there. And Morgalla is brought there sort of against her will because she grew up outside. And she struggles to find her place, and there's plenty of action in it. Again, I try to add in the whole heart with that. But any fan of a fantasy would love it. It's a good introduction to this to my world. And hold on tight, because the series only gets even more epic as it goes on. And I like to say that this is my Hobbit, to where the next three is my Lord of the Rings, minus a ring, actually. But yeah,
that's fantastic. So your first one, can you get it digitally? Is it like a paperback, or tell us about like where we can find it?
Hardcover, paperback. You can go to morgalla.net, morgalla.net, and you can find it through there. It's on Amazon, it's on BarnesandNoble.com, and it's available for electronic. I donate to any library. So if it's a school library, if it's a public library, I donate a copy to any of them. So if they want to have my work on their shelves, I would be honored. So there we go.
That's fantastic. Awesome. We'll have to check that out. Gabe, you got anything before we get off the track?
No. Thanks for joining us, John. It was a lot of fun. It's been a long day, and this is the cherry on top of our movie ride day. Thanks for being here.
No, thanks a lot for having me.
No, it's been a pleasure. All right. Well, that's our episode 23 for the Great Movie Radio Show. Thanks for listening to us. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, all over, and our website is thegmrshow.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next month for the Great Movie Radio Show, folks. Thanks for listening. Have a good one. The Great Movie Radio Show is recorded in Orlando, Florida. You can visit our website at www.thegmrshow.com. Art direction and logo design provided by Mr. Bayless. Voiceover and intro work provided by Dave Fesky and Joe Erickson. You can find our podcast on multiple platforms such as Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and many more. Music provided by the YouTube Audio Library. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Just search The Great Movie Radio Show or The GMR Show. This has been The Great Movie Radio Show. We hope you enjoy your day, and we'll see you at the movies. The stuff dreams are made of. Goodbye, everyone.
You have been listening to a GMR radio production.